Hello and welcome back to some more Bitburners. So in the last video, I created a script called Get YouTube Comments that looks at all my YouTube comments from my Bitburner videos and then pulls them across from within the game. So before recording any videos, I usually check whether there's new comments, but since there isn't, I'm not going to be featuring that from, I guess, the start of this video. Um, so today's video is going to be focused on the stock market and how it works and I guess what sort of functions you can use to start trading automatically. So to get started, you go to the city tab here and then you go to World Stock Exchange. Obviously your screen wouldn't look like this when you first start, mainly because I went ahead and purchased everything that I needed from this World Stock Exchange. If you've been following this series quite closely, then you should have enough to actually purchase everything within this menu, just so that it looks like this. So going through the accounts, the first account that you're probably going to purchase is this WSE account. And what that one will do is that it's going to give you access to buy and sell stocks from within this UI here. The second one is this TIX API access, and what this one will do is that it's going to allow you to buy and sell stocks from within your scripts. Third one is the market data TIX API access, and what this one will do is that it's going to give you access to forecast figures and volatility figures. And this one will assist us in, I guess, deciding whether we're going to buy or sell our stocks from within our scripts. And then optionally, you can purchase this 4S market data access, and what that one will do is that it's gonna unlock the UI elements for the volatility and price forecast figures, as well as unlock the achievement if you haven't gotten that already. So before going in depth into anything about this stock market in this game, how the stock market works in this game, I would first like to mention that if you know anything about trading or finances or investing, basically the stocks in this game doesn't behave the same way as the stocks in the real world. So any of your technical analysis tools or moving averages and RSI indicators, you can leave that out the door because that's no longer necessary. Basically, the price movements in this game is determined by one property, and it's called forecast. And this forecast is basically just a number between 0 and 1. If the number is less than 0.5, it means that the stock will go down. If the number is greater than 0.5, it means that the stock will go up. It's that simple. And then volatility figures affect your, I guess, the price movement. So it's gonna affect your profit chance. Every single stock from within this game is has its own ticker code or symbol. It has its own price, volatility figures, and then price forecast. If we expand this, we could see here that a bunch of menu. We can buy and sell stocks here, or place a bunch of orders. When you start out this stock market in the early game, you don't really have access to most of the features, so you don't have access to short stocks or place different types of orders. You unlock that somewhere later in the game, so that's why stock market is generally this late game thing that you have to do. But the reason why I'm doing this is because we're mad lads and we're gonna try to I guess explore this API a little bit further so that it's a lot clearer. And we're also just gonna create a very simple trading script just to get us started with it. And in the future, we can just expand it later on. It doesn't matter. So when trading stocks, the first thing you have to know is the different positions that you can take. So there's two different types of positions in this game. So there's long and then there's short. So let's jump into the mirror to just explain that from a high level. So here's I guess a rough diagram of how the stock market works. It's just going up and down. So this is a bullish market. So how long works is that if you buy your stocks here and then sell your stocks here, you make a profit by calculating the difference between this price movement. Alternatively, if you I guess take a long position and the price goes down, so let's say that you purchased the stock here and then sold your stock here, then you're gonna make a loss. and that's what I usually do. Buy high, sell low. Yeah, attendees, yeah. So the next position is the short position. Essentially, it's the opposite of long. Basically, how it works is that you buy, or in quotes, buy your stock here, and then you sell again, in quotes, sell your stock here. Essentially, the difference between long and short is that when you're taking a long position, you're expecting the market to go up because you're going to make profit when the price goes up. And then if you're taking the short position, you're expecting the market to go down because you're expecting you're gonna make profit when the market goes down. Yeah, that's about it. That's the simplest way that I would explain the different positions that you can take in the stock market. So let's go back to the game. So there's two different things. So ask price and bid price. Essentially, the ask price is the minimum price that a seller is willing to receive for a stock on the stock market, and then the bid price is essentially how much someone will buy a stock from a stock market. So, for example, if we take a long position, we're gonna be buying that long position on, I believe, the ask price, mainly because this is how much the seller of the stock is willing to sell the stock for. And then we're gonna be selling that stock on the bid price, mainly because this is the maximum price that whoever's offering the stock is willing to buy your share for. Generally, the ask price is higher than the bid price. So if you're wondering how much does my stock cost when I purchase it, basically you purchase it if long you purchase it using the ask price. If short, you purchase it using the bid price. And then I don't know if that makes any sense. Go do some research. They provide a Investopedia link here for a reason. Um, okay, so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna create a script called Diamond Hands, and what this one will do is that it's just gonna take the long position and then hold it for as long as possible, and maybe sometimes just sell based on the forecast. So as usual, I'm just gonna write this code and then get back to you guys as soon as I finish. Alright, so I managed to finish this diamond hand script. It was a lot simpler than I had anticipated, and it's also 22 gigabytes big. So if you don't have enough memory capacity to support that script, make sure that you upgrade your home server. And then I also started running it, and if we go to our home, we could see that this diamond script is already running and producing us some income. Obviously, it's still a beginner script, so we're not producing that much yet. But as you can see here, it's somewhat close to our launch fleet script. So moving into the code, let's start from the top. So the first thing I do is assign a bunch of constants. So the first constant I assign is this commission fee. So remember that for every transaction we make in the stock market, we have to pay $100,000 to the trader to execute that transaction. And then I also calculate the trade fees, which is the buy and sell transaction. So it's just a commission fee multiplied by 2. And then here is the overall value of the stock. So this is just used for, I guess, logging purposes. Basically, it represents the overall value of all the stocks that we own. Moving down to the main logic here, first I want to mention this tick duration. So in the documentation, they mentioned that the stocks and their pricing updates every 4 seconds when you're offline, and then every 6 seconds when you're online. So I decided that, I'll do the best of both worlds and just update all my stock information every 5 seconds, so somewhere in the middle here. And then moving into the main logic here, the first thing we do is grab the stonks. So I look at every single stock symbol and then I grab all the metadata information about it, such as how many short shares I own, how much those shares cost, the profits, and then the profit chats, and etc. And then it orders it by its profit potential, which I'm going to explain a little bit further when we get into this get stonks function. Down here, we take the tendies from those stocks, meaning that in Wall Street Bets terminology, we grab all the profits whenever we can. And then after taking the profits from our current stocks, we then YOLO it, meaning that we buy a bunch of stocks regardless of the risk. Um, and then after purchasing a whole bunch of new stocks, we then calculate the new overall value of our stocks. And then we just print out a whole bunch of log statements and then reset it back so that in the next iteration we're gonna get a new calculation. So moving into this get stonks function, this one is very simple. Again, what I do is I first grab all the symbols within the stock market, and for every single we grab a whole bunch of metadata information. So with the position, so long shares, long price, short shares, short price. For some reason the get position function isn't very user friendly. They return a whole bunch of array with a bunch of numbers, and it doesn't make sense if you don't read the documentation. So I just assigned them into a much more user friendly variables here. And then obviously we grab a whole bunch of stuff like the forecast, volatility, ask price, bid price, max shares, and basically everything that you can retrieve from the stock API. Down here we do a whole bunch of calculations. For long profits, it's always bid price minus the long price. And then for the short profit, it's short price minus the ask price. So that you just have to remember that. And then we calculate the profit by adding all the long profit and then short profit here, and then assign it to the stock object. Down here we calculate the cost. So basically the cost is calculated by grabbing the number of shares we have multiplied by the long price or short price. And then we add both of those together. This one's a bit of a tricky one. So this is the profit potential that we want to calculate. Basically, if you remember what I told you guys at the beginning of this video, this forecast value is between 0 and 1. And if the stock will go up, that value will be greater than 0.5. If the forecast value is below 0.5, then the value of the stock will go down in the next tick. So we want to calculate the even chance between the even chance of making profit, whether we're buying or we're taking the long or short position. So what we do here is that we take away 0.5, so the middle ground of the forecast, by the actual value, and then grabbing the absolute value of that, meaning that if the forecast is 0.6, then this value will be 0.1, so meaning that there's 10% chance to make profit for long. And then in the other side of the spectrum, if it's 0.4, it's gonna become 0.1, meaning that there's 10% chance of making a profit for short. So that's what that means. So that's the absolute chance we have on making profit in regardless of what position we take. So profit potential. So this one is also another tricky one. Basically, it represents our chance of grabbing the getting the price movement. So if you remember, volatility represents the price movement of the stock. If the volatility figure is 0.1, it means that the price could potentially move 10% higher than its current price. Or alternatively, it could also go down 10% lower depending on the forecast. So what this profit potential means is that this is our chance on getting that price change there. And then obviously we grab the summary. So this is used again for logging purposes. So it's just the stock symbol, the forecast, and then the volatility figure. And then we push that into our list of stocks. After grabbing all the metadata information from the stock market, we then sort the stocks by its profit potential. So after grabbing all the stocks and all its metadata information, we then go into this take attendees function. So if you're not familiar with Wall Street bets, essentially tendies is the terminology they use for profits or gains for a stock. And that's essentially what this function is doing. So for every stock that we have, if we have any long shares, then we take long tendies. And then in the future, if we have short shares, then we take the tendies for those as well. But we don't unlock those until later on in the game, so bit node 8. So going to this take long tendies function, essentially we decide whether or not we hold or sell based off the forecast value. If the forecast value is greater than 0.5, it means that the value will go up, meaning that we hold it. So we grab the current value, we grab the return on investment, and then we just print it out and then add it to our overall value figure. Otherwise, if it's going the other way, so it's going to go down in the next tick, we're going to have to take action and then actually just sell that stock so that we can take the profits. So essentially how this works is that I do some calculations on I guess the sale price, the total cost to get essentially the end goal is to get the profits, which is the sale total, minus how much I guess that sale cost, and then the trade fees. And then from that I then log the profits there. And then after I guess taking the tendies, we then YOLO. And what this means is that we buy the stock regardless of the risk. But essentially I have a risk threshold here just to be extra safe. Essentially, the higher this number is, I guess the less risk you're willing to take. But I decided to set it very low. I can actually set it as 1 or something, and it means that I'm gonna be taking quite a lot of risk. But what this means is that for every trade I make sure that I can still make 20 transactions after executing that trade. It's just so that you manage your risk a lot easier. It's basic stock trading 101. You make sure that you have enough money to trade so that you don't become broke. Unless that's what you want. You can get broke in this game. Maybe in the future I might make a video on making myself broke, but as of now I want to give you guys the best solution. And then here we again go through all the stocks within the stock market. We look at the player's current money, and then we look at the forecast. So if it's greater than 0.55, so it means that it's definitely gonna go up. So if the money is greater than the risk threshold, then we calculate, I guess, the number of shares we can buy with our current money, and then we find the actual value of shares to buy by comparing it with the stock's max number of shares versus the shares we can buy, because the max number of shares could potentially be lower than the number of shares we can buy, or vice versa. So that's why we do this math.min check here. And as soon as we calculate the shares to buy, we then actually buy the stock. And what this will return is that if it's successful, then it's going to return a value greater than 0. And then we print it out onto the console just to symbolize that we bought some stocks. And then after YOLOing the stocks, then we just print out the overall values and then reset some of our variables at the top, and then we sleep. And that's about it. I guess down here I made a note for market manipulation. So basically this game has a functionality where you can actually manipulate where the stock will go based off the actions that you take. So hack will make the stock more likely to go down, mainly because you're stealing money from their bank account, so it's decreasing I guess the revenue, meaning that it's gonna make all the investors for that company very unpleased. Or you can grow that company, and then this will make the forecast more go up, so make the stock more likely to go up. But again, we're gonna do that in the future video as soon as we unlock the short selling ability, because when we unlock the short selling ability, we can I guess use this extend this diamond hand script to its full potential. But for now, it's limited to just taking long positions and then selling them appropriately. So I left the script running for about nearly 2 hours, and as you can see, the Diamond Hand script can now generate up to 1 billion per second, which overly exceeds what the launch fleets can do. So if you have any questions, please leave a comment down below. I'll make sure to check them in future videos. And I guess I'll see you guys in the next one.